Hello there, and welcome to Whispers to Sleep. My name is David, and I'm truly honored to be your guide tonight. Here we believe sleep is not just a routine. It's a gentle journey, a quiet return to peace every night. I craft stories with care, so your mind can rest and your body can soften all you need to do. Let go, take a slow deep breath in, and as you breathe out, allow the day to melt away. Close your eyes. Get cozy under the covers and let my voice lead you into calm, into comfort, into dreams. This is your time. Your memento. Truly relax. Let's begin. The first step into the snow is always the most silent dot. It's as if the earth holds its breath for you, waiting to see if you'll really leave the warmth behind, if you'll really let go of all that today is carried. But you do. You step outside. The door closes gently behind you with a wooden sigh, and you find yourself alone under a velvet sky. The snow has been falling for hours, soft and slow, like the town is being tucked in beneath a blanket stitched from clouds. Each flake lands with a quiet thought. There are no harsh sounds here, only the whisper of wind and the faint creak of distant branches. You walk slowly, your breath rising in small, misty clouds. It curls around your face, like your own private fog, before disappearing into the night. The cold air touches your cheeks and nose, but not unkindly. It wakes you just enough to be present, just enough to notice Dot, and so you begin to feel it, the way your body changes in the cold. Your blood vessels narrow slightly near the surface of your skin, conserving warmth for your vital organs. Your heart beats a little faster, pushing heat inward. Your muscles tense and relax, then tense again, like waves ebbing along the shoreline of your spine. Even your brain responds, not with alarm, but with a gentle alertness, a kind of calm watchfulness. Because cold, in the right dose, doesn't only awaken, it quiets the noise inside. You walk toward the heart of the sleeping town. Gas lamps cast halos of amber light through the fog, each one a soft beacon in the snow. You move through them like time itself, slow, steady, inevitable. Dot, as your boots crunch over the powder, your body begins to shift. The stress that clung to you earlier, the meetings, the unfinished tasks, the low hum of urgency, begins to melt. Literally, cortisol, the hormone your body produces under stress, begins to lower in response to your movement and environment. A walk through snow is not just a walk, it is a physiological message. It tells your nervous system, you are safe, you are slow now, you are here. Dot, and in the body, that safety translates into softness. Your parasympathetic nervous system, the one designed for rest, for digestion, for stillness, begins to take the lead. Your pupils relax, your jaw unclenches. Your shoulders, perhaps unknowingly tight all day, begin to sync with gravity's invitation. You pass a fence wrapped in snow and ice, a cat curled tightly beneath its porch. Everything is resting. Even the trees look sleepy, their branches heavy with frost. You pause, letting your senses stretch outward, like roots. Dot, your ears tune into the snow's hush. That distinct silence that comes not from the absence of sound, but the absorption of it. Snow is nature's acoustic blanket. Each tiny crystal is a shape that bends sound inward, trapping it. That's why it feels quieter after a snowfall, because it truly is. The science of silence is not only acoustic, but emotional. In silence, your brain shifts. Studies show that just 2 minutes of silence can be more restorative for your brain than even soft music. In silence, the default mode network becomes active, a web of brain regions associated with memory, introspection, and imagination. This network awakens when you are not doing, but simply being. And so, in this quiet town of 1905, you are more yourself than you've been all day. A part of you that remembers, that dreams, that observes, it floats to the surface. The past and present blur here. You imagine others who have walked this street 100 years ago, boots on snow, breath in the dark. You imagine someone lighting a lamp, someone holding hands beneath a fur-lined coat, a letter being written beside a window pane. These quiet lives, layered like snowfalls across time, remind you how many people have braved through nights just like this one. The science of remembering is not only about neurons, but about pattern and place. Your brain ties memory to environment, to sound, scent, then temperature. That's why you might suddenly recall a childhood snowball fight when you feel the cold pinch your fingers. The hippocampus, your memory center, is triggered not by facts, but by experience. And here you are, in a place filled with experience, with atmosphere, with gentle patterns that your brain recognizes as safe, familiar, and worth remembering. Cold begins to reach your fingertips, a soft warning. You pull your scarf higher and turn back toward home. As you walk, your mind slows even more. Each step is a lullaby. Each lamp you pass, a small chapter closed. You notice your breath again. Slower now, deeper. You exhale into the cold, and it no longer feels like a fight against the air. It feels like an offering, a rhythm, a release. There is something ancient in this quiet walk in the snow, this return to self through motion and cold and silence. Humans have always done this, walked, observed, surrendered to the night. The body remembers how to rest when it's given space to do so. And so, when you reach the door again, you do not rush to open it. You pause. You look once more at the street, soft, white, glowing. The town remains wrapped in its snowy hush. Your hand reaches for the doorknob, but your eyes lift one more time, drawn by instinct, curiosity, or something older. Above you, the stars begin to blink through the fog. Their light is old, older than this town, older than memory. And still, they shine. You wonder what your eyes are truly seeing in the dark, and how they adjust to light and shadow, how they know to soften when the world glows golden beneath a lamplight's sway. Shall we walk into that glow next? You pause by a glowing window. The snow beneath it gleams like gold dust, lit from within. Behind the glass, a single oil lamp burns, its flame slow and steady, cradled by a glass chimney. The room inside is quiet. A chair, a table, a sleeping cat curved into itself, all washed in a soft amber glow. You stand in the hush outside, watching. The light rests gently against the window pane, not piercing the dark, but joining it, the way a whisper belongs to silence. Your eyes begin to adjust, like curtains slowly parting to let in just enough truth. You blink once, twice, and it happens. The world before you subtly changes. Shapes that were once shadows now become outlines. Textures appear. The snowy fence, the wooden siding of the house, the frost blooming across the glass. You can see more, not because the light grew stronger, but because your eyes had decided to meet it halfway. This gentle shift from night to light is something your body has been practicing since long before electric bulbs, long before cities, back when fire was the only way to chase the dark away. Inside your eye, a quiet process unfolds. There are two kinds of cells, rods and cones. Think of cones as your daylight dancers. They love color, sharpness, clarity, but they fade when the sun disappears. Rods, on the other hand, are creatures of shadow. They wait patiently in the wings all day, then step into the spotlight once. The world dims. They don't care much for color, but they're beautifully sensitive, able to read the night like a letter written in whispers. That it takes time. This switch from cones to rods. About 20 to 30 minutes for full adaptation. That's why, After stepping out of a bright room, you often feel blind in the dark. Your rods are still waking up. Your eyes are recalibrating, not failing God as you stand there now. Breathing in the faint scent of wood smoke, your rods are in command. They read the glow of the lamp, the curve of the snowdrift, the gentle rise of chimney smoke. They show you how to see not with sharpness, but with softness, with patience. The snow around your feet reflects the light, scattering it like powdered stars. Your eyes love this, not too much brightness, not too much dark. Just enough contrast to make things known without overstating them. This balance soothes you more than you realize. Too much light at night, especially the sharp blue light of screens, tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Your pineal gland, deep in your brain, pauses the release of melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep. But here, under the glow of lamplight, your brain knows the truth. It understands the rhythm. It begins to relax. You take a step closer. To the window. The glass is fogged from the warmth inside. You raise a hand, not to touch it, but to feel its closeness. Inside, the lamp's flame flickers. Not in fear, but in rhythm, like a heartbeat. A reminder that even in stillness, there is motion. Your pupils contract slightly in response, narrowing to let just the right amount of light in. This isn't something you think about. It just happens. A perfect reflex. The iris, that colored part of your eye, expands and contracts like a shutter, regulating how you take the world in. In this way, your eyes are guardians, translators. They filter not just light, but emotion. How you see affects how you feel. And right now, the world feels calm. You look away from the window and back into the darkened street. The lamplight fades behind you, but your vision doesn't panic. Your rods are alert now. They've taken the stage. And with them, your imagination steps forward. Darkness is not emptiness. It is a space for thought to grow. Your brain fills in what your eyes can't fully grasp, painting outlines, completing shapes, suggesting stories. That quiet figure near the trees, is it a person, a post, or simply your mind's gentle reaching? The night asks for trust. Your eyes, your brain, your body, they all work together, not in dominance, but in harmony. Each part sensing, adapting, waiting, and responding. You walk onward, letting the glow of that window fade behind you like a candle blown out in memory. But the feeling it left remains. You notice now how your vision has softened. You're no longer looking for detail. You're reading mood. Your eyes are not tools right now. They are companions. A bird flutters briefly in a tree, its wings casting a fleeting shadow across the snow. You blink again, gently. And just like that, the scene shifts once more. You're reminded that seeing is not only physical, it's emotional. The way light lands on a face can change the way you feel about it. The way a room is lit can decide whether it feels like a refuge or a prison. Light speaks to us in a language we understand without words. Your walk continues, but your gaze becomes quieter, more inward. Somewhere deep in your brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a tiny bundle of neurons behind your eyes, keeps track of the light you've seen today. It uses that data to tell your body what time it is, when to sleep, how deeply to rest. This internal clock listens carefully to every sunset, every flicker, every glow dot, and tonight. It hears the LAMPLIGHT. It recognizes its softness, its rhythm, and it begins to prepare. Your body starts the slow chemical shift towards sleep. Melatonin rises, heart rate lowers, your core temperature subtly drops. All because you passed a window and your eyes knew how to listen. You walk a little slower now. The town is a blur of warmth and shadow. Not a single sound breaks the silence, except the faint rustle of wind and your boots in the snow. You wonder what else your body notices before your mind does. What other signals are being received, interpreted, trusted, and just then, you draw. In a breath, cool, clean, and deep, the night air fills your lungs, and you begin to wonder, what does your breath know? That you don't? Shall we follow it? You inhale. The air is cold, not sharply, not harshly, but with a crispness that wakes something ancient inside you. It carries the scent of pine needles, slightly sweet and sharp. A whisper of wood smoke curls through the streets, soft and distant, as though it has been burning for hours. And underneath it all, the scent of frost, clean, pure, and still. The breath moves into your body without rush. It slips past your lips, past the warmth of your throat, and begins its descent into the quiet cathedral of your lungs. And as it moves, a transformation begins. The air, born in the hush of winter, is cold. Too cold for the delicate tissues inside. But your body, without hesitation, begins to warm it. Your nose and sinuses, with their winding passages, act like a gentle maze, heating, humidifying, softening the air until it's just right. Tiny blood vessels beneath the surface rise to meet it, releasing warmth, welcoming each breath like a guest at the door. Your body is not just passive. It is a sanctuary. It changes the world just by letting it in. As the air reaches the depths of your lungs, it meets millions of tiny sacs, alveoli. Each one is like a quiet room, waiting in stillness. There are around 480 million of them inside you, folded like secrets in the chest. And in each one, a quiet exchange begins. Oxygen, light and invisible, slips across the membrane and into your blood. Carbon dioxide, its journey complete, flows gently back out. A perfect trade. A conversation between breath and body. You may not feel this, but it is happening now. Every breath you take is a quiet miracle. You pause in the middle of the street, letting your lungs fill once more, this time more slowly. You breathe in until you can't any longer, and exhale like a long sigh you've been holding all day. It feels good, not just physically, but emotionally. Like the body is exhaling tension, grief, stories you forgot you were carrying. This is not imagination. It's biology. When you breathe deeply, intentionally, you activate your vagus nerve. It's a long, wandering nerve that touches nearly every part of your body. And when it's stimulated by breath, it tells your system to relax, to release, to soften. Your heart slows, your muscles unwind, your blood pressure drops, your mind begins to uncoil, like a spool of thread loosened by a gentle hand. You take another breath, and the air flows more easily now. The rhythm begins to settle in and out like the tide, like a lullaby. Your breath becomes the metronome of this quiet night. You walk again. The cold does not bite. It sharpens your senses. You notice the way your breath curls into the air like smoke. You notice how each exhale floats, then disappears, like a thought released before it can harden. You remember something, or maybe nothing at all, but it feels familiar. How many nights have you stood like this? How many winters has your body endured, survived, embraced? We are breathing beings. Before we ever speak, we breathe. Before we cry, we breathe. Breath is the first action of life, and the last. It is the thread that ties each moment together. And yet most days, we forget. Inhale. You are breathing air that may have passed through pine trees, through mountaintops, through glaciers long melted into memory. Air that has been in the lungs of animals, ancestors, strangers. Air that has circled the earth 1,000 times before finding its way to you. Exhale. You release carbon dioxide, not a waste product, but a gift. Trees need it, just as you need their oxygen. The cycle is complete. You are part of something vast and beautiful. Even in this small, sleepy town, even in 1905, this exchange has always been. You pass a line of trees. Their bare branches reach upward, silhouetted against the pale night sky. You pause again, just to breathe with them. Trees breathe too, in their own slow rhythm. They do not have lungs, but their leaves in summer drink light and release life. Now, in winter, they rest, but they wait to exhale again. You are not so different. Sometimes your breath is loud in fear, in effort, in joy. But now it is soft, gentle. It matches the quiet of the town, the hush of snow. The pulse of the earth beneath you dot. Your breath carries information. With every inhale, you bring in more than oxygen. You take in scent, temperature, humidity, particles of memory. Your brain reads this data and translates it into mood. Calm air creates calm people. And the cold teaches your breath to slow. Quick breathing cools the body, but slow breathing invites peace. It tells your body there's no rush, no threat, just stillness. You close your eyes for a moment and feel it. The air moves in. The ribs expand gently. The diaphragm, a soft dome of muscle beneath your lungs, flattens downward, opening space. Your heart, cradled above it, feels the shift and slows its beat to match. This is balance. This is the body doing what it knows best. You open your eyes again. A soft light flickers in the distance, maybe from another lamp, or maybe just the moon caught in glass. But something about the moment feels fuller, more alive, because you're not just walking. You're breathing your way through the world. And in doing so, you're teaching your nervous system, your entire self, that peace is possible. You stop once more at the corner of a street where the trees open into a square. There's an old bench, partially covered in snow. You sit, slowly, and feel the cold seep through the wood. Not painful, just real, just present. You breathe again. And this time, you count. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5. You do it again, this time without numbers. Just sensation, letting the air teach your body what it already knows. You are breathing. You are alive. You are calm. You are here. A distant owl calls out once, then goes quiet again. The wind moves through the trees like breath through a sleeping mouth. You feel it all, inside and out, and your breath joins the landscape like a song sung under the skin. And then, something stirs, not outside, inside, a thought, perhaps, or a memory rising with the breath, or simply the sense that your breath carries more than oxygen. It carries you, your energy, your focus, your fire, and you wonder, if your breath is life, then what happens when a memory rides along with it? When scent or sound pulls something old from deep within you? Perhaps we should follow that trail into the frost and glass of memory. You stop by the window. Behind the glass, golden light spills into the street like a dream half remembered. A small cafe. The wooden chairs are worn at the edges. The floor creaks beneath boots and skirts. Steam curls upward from a dozen cups. And laughter dances between walls painted warm with time. You don't go inside. You stand here, just outside the glow, watching, listening, feeling something stir. You don't even realize it at first, but the scent of cinnamon, the yellow of the light, the soft chatter, they touch something. Not on your skin, but deeper. A memory, a place you've been, or maybe only imagined. This is how memory begins, with a feeling, not a fact. Your eyes trace the frost blooming across the glass. It spreads like lace, delicate and soft, blurring. The view just slightly, enough to make the present feel distant and the past feel near. And in that gentle haze, your mind opens the drawer. Inside your brain, the hippocampus waits. It's a small, curved structure deep within, shaped like a seahorse, and just as mysterious. It helps you form new memories, not by writing them down, but by threading them into the web of everything else you've ever known. Each moment, each scent, sound, image is woven in, linked to emotion, to space, to time. And the stronger the emotion, the deeper the thread. That's why certain songs pull you back in seconds. Why the smell of baked bread might unlock an entire afternoon from years ago. You breathe in again, and for a moment, you forget what year it is. The cafe behind the glass feels familiar. You think of a winter afternoon, a pair of gloves on a table, a laugh you thought you'd forgotten. It's not the memory itself that matters now. It's the way your body responds to it. The quiet shift, the gentle ache. The warmth that rises unexpectedly. Your brain does not store memories like photographs. It stores them like stories, always changing, shaped by how you feel when you revisit them. The act of remembering is not passive. When you recall something, your brain rewrites it slightly. Each time a little different, a little softer, like frost on a window, changing the scene just enough to make it beautiful. You take a step back, and the light dims slightly. Your reflection appears in the window, layered over the cafe inside. Yourself and memory, present and past, coexisting. In the same pane of glass, you think about the way the brain categorizes time. There are short-term memories, fleeting, delicate, like snowflakes landing on skin. They last seconds or minutes, held briefly in your prefrontal cortex. And then they melt, unless marked as meaningful. Long-term memories are different. They settle in, stored across multiple regions of the brain, in sound, in scent, in image. A memory isn't kept in one place. It's scattered like stars in a sky, waiting for a cue to reconnect them. And tonight, the cue is this window, this light, this air. The amygdala, that small almond-shaped part of your brain responsible for emotion, adds color to these memories. Fear sharpens them. Joy softens them. Grief etches them in slow motion. That's why a single image can make your chest tighten, because memory is not just thought. It is sensation. You sit on a wooden bench outside the cafe. The wood is cold. Beneath you, but not uncomfortable. You let your hands rest on your knees. Your breath moves in and out. You allow the memory, whatever it is, to linger. Sometimes, it's not a specific moment that returns, but a feeling of being. A version of yourself. A season. A certain kind of silence that once surrounded you. The brain does not separate memory and imagination cleanly. The same neural circuits light up when you remember as when you dream. That's why memories can feel like dreams, and dreams can feel like memories. Both are stories you tell yourself in the dark. You let your eyes soften. Inside the cafe, a child leans against a window, tracing something in the condensation with a tiny finger. A circle, a heart, a smudge. You smile, and your body relaxes. The science of memory is tender. It teaches us that we are not machines. We are revisionists. We edit as we go, making the past more bearable or more beautiful, depending on the night. This is not deceit. This is survival. This is art. You think now about the role of sleep in memory. How dreams help consolidate what you've learned. How your brain replays the day's moments as you rest, deciding what to keep and what to let go. Sleep is the sculptor. It carves memory into form. That's why some memories only come back at night. The quiet gives them room. The darkness gives them weight. And in this moment, in this place, a snowy street in 1905, beside a glowing window, You become both witness and story. You feel the presence of those who've stood here before, their breath in the cold air, their gloved hands pressed to the glass, their thoughts quiet as yours. Your brain, for all its complexity, is also a heart, beating with remembered things. The past, though gone, is not lost. It lingers in you, not as dust, but as light filtered through the frost. You stand once. More, the window blurs behind you. The light still glows, but you turn away. Not because you're done remembering, but because you've remembered enough. The mind is like the night. It holds what it needs and releases what it doesn't. You take a final glance at the glass. It no longer feels like a barrier. It feels like a mirror, showing you not who you were, but who you've carried forward. And as you step back into the snow, your breath rises like a ribbon in the air, soft, winding, unfinished dot above you. The stars begin to emerge, not suddenly, but gradually, as though remembering they were always there. And you wonder, what do those quiet stars hold that your memory cannot? You pause again, this time not for sound or memory, but for the sky. Above the rooftops, past the wisps of chimney smoke and the trembling silhouettes of pine trees, the sky opens, deep, vast, and velvet black. A cathedral of night, quiet and endless. And scattered across it, the stars, a constellation of tiny fires glowing from incomprehensible distances. You tilt your head back and breathe. The stars are patient. They do not blink with urgency. They shimmer like frozen music. Holding rhythm with the silence of the world below, dot your eyes. Long adjusted to the dark, now take them in more easily. The longer you gaze, the more stars seem to appear, as if stepping forward shyly from behind the curtain of night. One of them twinkles, then another, as if winking softly from across time. You may wonder why they do that. Why stars shimmer and dance in place, while planets remain steady. And the answer lies not in them, but in what lies between that as their light travels to you, across billions of miles, across galaxies and years. It passes through Earth's atmosphere, that ever-moving blanket of air and moisture. And the air, like ripples in a pond, bends the light slightly as it reaches your eyes. This bending, this refraction, causes the starlight to tremble, to shift, to appear as though it's blinking. A star does not twinkle. The sky twinkles for it. It's comforting, in a way, to know that even something so far away can be shaped by the breath of our own world. The stars become not only distant, but responsive, moving, participating in the life of this night. You trace them with your eyes, slowly. Orion's belt, the curve of Cassiopeia, maybe the North Star too, fixed in its place, always there, always guiding. Your ancestors watched this same sky, long before maps, long before clocks. The stars were their language of direction, a way to know the path home, or the season's change, or the rhythm of tides. Some nights, they read the sky the way you read a letter, carefully, reverently, with trust. You think of sailors steering by Polaris, of travelers using the arc of the Big Dipper to find their way, of farmers watching the Pleiades rise just before dawn, signaling that winter would soon fall upon the land. You are part of that lineage. Your body, your instincts, your sense of place, all touched by that same sky. Even now, in the soft dark of this sleepy Minnesota town, the stars speak. Not in words, but in cycles, in pulses, in light that predates your breath. You might find it beautiful to know the light of some stars you're seeing tonight left its source before your great-grandparents were born. Before this town had streets, before memory, that light has been traveling uninterrupted just to land softly on your eyes tonight. It made it, and so did you. You breathe again, slower now. The cold in your lungs no longer startles. It reminds you that you're alive, awake, and wonderfully small beneath something endlessly vast. And here's another wonder. That light doesn't only touch your eyes. It touches your brain. It enters through your retina, travels along your optic nerve, and speaks quietly to a part of your hypothalamus called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, your body's master clock. This small, essential cluster of cells governs your circadian rhythm, the 24-hour cycle that guides your sleep, your hunger, your hormones, your wakefulness. It listens to light, to darkness, to the fading of stars before dawn, and it adjusts your chemistry accordingly. That's why being outside at night, especially under a clear, starlit sky, can reset your rhythm, realign you, ease you into a slower pulse that matches the turn of the earth. Your body understands the stars even when your mind forgets. You sit now on a bench, the wood chilled but grounding. The stars above seem closer somehow, not physically, but emotionally. They don't feel like points of science. They feel like old friends, constant, quiet, watching with gentle indifference. One of them streaks, just for a moment. A meteor, maybe, or space debris, or just the echo of a wish you haven't made yet. You smile. Barely, Doc. We often look to the stars for meaning, for signs, for stories, Dot, and so your mind drifts gently toward the science of stardust. Because you are not only beneath the stars, you are of them. Dot. Almost every atom in your body, carbon, calcium, iron, was forged in the heart of a star that once exploded. Supernova, the brilliant deaths of massive stars, scatter these elements across the cosmos. Those elements settle, combine, form planets, and eventually you are walking stardust, breathing star-forged air. You are the echo of something burning, then gone, then born again. Perhaps that's why you feel something stir inside when you look up. It is not only wonder, it is recognition. The stars above the still town reflect more than light. They reflect your own rhythm, the slow turn of thought, the gentle spiral of memory, the pulse of your own internal universe. You find one star, just one, and let your gaze rest there. Steady, quiet. You don't need to name it. You only need to know it's there. Dot. As you gaze, your breath naturally slows. This is not forced. It's alignment. Your nervous system, soothed by the dark and the sky, leans into rest. Melatonin begins to rise. Muscles soften. The chatter of the day fades. Dot. There is no rush now. Just presence. Just orbit. And perhaps the stars are watching you too. Curious, ancient, endlessly distant, yet impossibly close. You notice how the frost on the window earlier reflected some of these same stars. The way memory does. And the way, tomorrow, you might remember tonight, not as a timeline, but as a feeling. A night when the sky opened, and the stars simply were. Dot. No demand, no urgency. Just existence. Dot. And in their presence, you remembered how to be still. You rise from the bench slowly, knees stiff but soul soft. Your body sways gently with each step, not from fatigue, but from harmony. A kind of gravity between you and the sky. You turn your gaze up one last time. A cluster of stars. A map that doesn't need reading. A lullaby in light. Dot. And somewhere inside, the question stirs. If your body listens to stars to find its rhythm, then what keeps its time when the sky is hidden? What pendulum swings within you, marking each hour, each breath, each blink, even in the quiet? Perhaps there's a clockmaker in the shadows. A bell chimes once, then twice, then again. You pause in the middle of the lane as the sound echoes across the rooftops, soft and slow, like the closing lines of a lullaby. It rings not just through the air, but through your chest as if some deep part of you has been waiting for it. A quiet reminder that time is still passing. Even when everything feels still, you turn your head and see the small wooden sign swinging gently above a shop door. L. Behrens, clockmaker. Since 1869, the letters are hand-painted, faded by years of weather and quiet hands. Through the shop window, you glimpse rows of clocks, some grand and gilded, others modest and worn. Inside, a lantern flickers softly beside the silhouette of a man bent over a work table, surrounded by gears, springs, and faces with no mouths, but many ways of speaking. You stand there longer than you expect, watching the pendulum sway back and forth in a rhythm as old as breath, and then it strikes you. You, too, are a clock, not wound with keys or powered by gears, but by light and dark and the rising of the sun. You are ruled by rhythms, even when you do not notice them. Your body keeps time, quietly, faithfully inside your brain. Just behind the bridge of your nose lives a bundle of about 20,000 neurons called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. This tiny cluster is your master clock, your internal CLOCKMAKER dot. It sits above the optic chiasm, where signals from your eyes cross. It watches the light. It listens for the dark. And it tells the rest of you when to wake, when to sleep, when to feel hungry, warm, alert, or still. This rhythm, your circadian rhythm, is not just about sleep. It's the silent conductor of your body's orchestra. Every organ listens to it. Every hormone waits for its cue. Your liver, your heart, your muscles, all timed not to minutes, but to patterns. It's not about the hour on the wall. It's about light and timing and trust. You step closer to the shop window. One of the clocks is open, its glass face removed. The clockmaker lifts a tiny gear between his fingers and studies it with reverence, as if it holds a secret no one else can see. He sets it in place with care, then gently nudges the pendulum until it swings again. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Your body has its own pendulum. Not one you can touch or see, but one you can feel. When you sleep and rise at the same time each day, the swing is steady. When you stay up too late or flood your night with bright light, the pendulum stutters. The rhythm strains and still. It forgives you. It finds its beat again. With a bit of darkness, a bit of quiet, a bit of care. Breathe in and notice the sky. It's deepened into that ink blue shade that only comes just before true night. The kind of blue that makes golden windows glow brighter. The kind that quiets even the wind. Your master clock feels it too. The dimming light signals to your SCN. It's time. Time to shift the gears of your chemistry. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, begins to rise. Cortisol, your alertness companion, softens. Your body temperature gently drops. Your heart rate slows. Not because you think it's bedtime, but because your clock knows. It always knows. You think now of how connected we are to the sky, how long we've watched the sun rise and fall like a breath across the world. Long before alarm clocks, your ancestors rose with the light and slept with the dark. Their circadian rhythms were in sync with firelight, moonlight, starlight. No blue screens, no noise. Just the body, listening to Earth's steady beat. And even now, over a century later in this quiet town, that ancient rhythm lives in you. It has never left. It is part of your cells, your blood, your breath. It does not shout. It whispers. Tick, tock, tick, tock. You place a hand gently over your chest and feel your own rhythm, the beat beneath your palm, the tempo of your rest. Your heart, while not the master clock, listens closely to its commands. When your rhythm is smooth, your heartbeat follows. Coherent, calm, predictable. But when your rhythm is thrown by stress, by light, by shift, your heart adapts, sometimes uneasily. You think of the phrase, clockwork heart. It's not so wrong, really. The clockmaker now stands in the doorway, brushing off his apron. He doesn't speak, but nods at you, and you nod in return. His shop is more than a place of gears and springs. It's a symbol, a metaphor, a reminder that time is not just measured. It is lived. He returns inside, and you continue walking, your boots pressing softly into the snow. The bells are quiet. Now the hour already spoken, but you carry the echo with you, as if your own body had rung. You wonder now about other rhythms within you, not just sleep and wake, but those shorter cycles. Ultradian rhythms, the 90-minute focus windows. Infradian rhythms, the longer tides of mood and biology. Each one a smaller clock inside the greater one. Each one swinging its own pendulum. Even your cells have clocks. Tiny timekeepers ticking. In their nuclei, syncing to the master, checking in, adjusting. A symphony of ticking. And when those clocks are in harmony, you feel it. Not as energy or sleep alone, but as peace. You pause beneath a bare tree. Its branches reach toward the moon like quiet metronomes. Even nature keeps time. Flowers that open only at dawn. Animals who hunt only at dusk. Trees that release scent with the fading light. You and the tree, not so different, both watching the light. Both responding. Both waiting for sleep. You begin to feel it now. Not just the idea of sleep, but the tug of it. Your eyes feel heavy, not from fatigue, but from rhythm. The swing of your inner pendulum has slowed. The tick-tock of your clock has entered its nighttime verse. And like the clocks in the shop, you don't stop. You don't sleep all at once. You wind down. Gradually, gracefully, a transition. A letting go dot, and as you walk back toward the heart of town, past the last flickers of lamplight, a single question gently rises with you. What happens when you finally lie down? When your body grows still beneath the quilt, and warmth replaces motion? What changes then in the science of rest? You close the door gently behind you. The wind and snow remain outside now, tucked away like a folded coat. Inside, everything is hushed. Your small room holds its own warmth, the kind that's not just heat, but safety. A oil lamp flickers softly in the corner, casting golden shapes that stretch and settle along the walls like sleepy dancers. You slip off your boots. The wooden floor is cool underfoot, but your fingers are already reaching for the quilt, thick, soft, and familiar. Layer by layer, you prepare for rest. First, the outer clothes, scarf, coat, sweater, each removed like a thought being set aside. Then, the movement toward stillness, sitting, stretching, settling. And finally, the quiet weight of the quilt, drawn over your body like a promise dot. It holds you, not tightly, but wholly. You feel the air change beneath it, still, warmed by your breath, protected by its softness dot. As you lie back and close your eyes for a moment, something in you shifts, not the obvious kind. Something internal, a signal, a whisper. Your body has begun the descent into rest, and it begins strangely, beautifully. With a drop in temperature, your core, the center of you, begins to cool ever so slightly. This cooling isn't a flaw, it's a design. It's your body's way of telling the brain, it's time, you can let go now. You might think warmth is the thing that brings sleep. And in a way, it is, but it works alongside the cool. The skin warms as the core cools. It's the contrast that calms. Your body, always watching, uses this change as a signal. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, your internal clockmaker, senses the shift. And in response, it continues the flow of melatonin, easing you into the realm where thought becomes feeling, and feeling becomes dream. This delicate thermal dance is ancient. For our ancestors, night meant cold, and sleep came when firelight dimmed and bodies curled together beneath hides or blankets. The body learned to rest when the outside world cooled, and so even now, under layers of cotton and wool, your biology listens to the temperature of the world around it. You adjust the quilt slightly, letting your arms find a new position, letting your body melt deeper into the mattress. The bed isn't just a place. It's a signal in itself, familiar, safe, expected. It tells your nervous system, you are allowed to let go. As your body temperature continues to dip, your heart rate slows. Blood flows more easily toward your extremities, fingers, toes, skin. That's why warm socks can help you fall asleep faster. They assist in this redistribution of warmth, helping the core cool more quickly. You become, quite literally, a glowing ember, cooler in the center, warmer on the outside. And it is in this contrast that comfort lives. The quilt traps the heat your body offers, building a cocoon around you, not hot, just steady. Soft warmth signals the release of oxytocin, the comfort hormone, which eases anxiety and deepens your sense of safety. You feel this, even now. Your limbs become heavier, not with weight, but with surrender. The quilt presses against your skin just enough to remind you where your edges are, where you end, and the rest of the world begins. This sense of containment, of enclosure, soothes the amygdala, the part of your brain responsible for fear. It settles. The alarms grow quiet. You are not in danger here. Your room holds only quiet and warmth, and time stretched thin. Even the breath you draw, thicker now, slower. You're not asleep yet, but you're drifting. The boundary between awareness and surrender begins to blur. And beneath all of it, this temperature ballet continues, unnoticed. But essential. Research tells us that if your core temperature doesn't drop, sleep becomes elusive. That's why sleeping in a room that's slightly cool, paired with warm bedding, is often ideal. It mimics nature. It mimics night. Your body wants to align with nature, not escape it. You roll onto your side. The quilt moves with you, soft and forgiving. You find the perfect pocket of warmth, where the air between your skin and the fabric holds your heat like a whispered secret. This warmth is more than physical. It's emotional, psychological. To be warm is to be comforted. And comfort, more than fatigue, is the true gateway to sleep. You remember, perhaps, as a child, curling beneath a blanket while someone read to you. That memory isn't just stored in the brain. It's stored in the skin, in the warmth, in the quiet of this moment now. You shift once more, not to move away from the day, but to move closer to rest. And with every degree your body drops internally, your mind rises into softness. The boundary between body and bed disappears. You become the warmth. You become the breath. You become the rhythm that has always led you home. And maybe you begin to dream, not fully, not yet, but the threshold glows near, the warmth beneath. The quilt acts as a ferry, carrying you from waking shore to dreaming sea. You may not notice when you cross. Sleep arrives softly, like snowfall on skin. No fanfare, just arrival. But even before it comes fully, your body begins to change inside. The warmth, brainwaves slow, muscles loosen. Conscious thought dissolves. And in its place, a landscape shaped by memory, by hope, by soundless story. You are nearly there now. But before you go, before dreams stretch their fingers toward you, a thought drifts through the quiet. What happens to the words you never spoke, the letters never sent, the stories you wrote only in your mind? Perhaps there's a desk waiting, and a pen paused mid-sentence. The room is nearly dark now, except for the golden lamp beside the old writing desk. Its glow falls gently across aged wood, illuminating a stack of thick yellowed paper and a fountain pen resting silently across the top sheet. The ink, still wet in places, clings to curves of half-formed words. You step closer, drawn by the stillness of something left unfinished. The chair is empty, but the presence of thought remains. It lingers in the smudge at the page's edge, in the curled corners of envelopes never sealed, in the quiet weight of words that stopped. Mid-sentence. You reach out and brush your fingers lightly across the top of the desk. The wood is cool and smooth beneath your touch, familiar, worn by years of elbows and memory. You sit carefully, and for a moment you simply listen. There is no sound but the gentle hiss of the lamp and the rustle of your breath against silence. You look at the letter. The first line reads, "There's something I've wanted to say." And then, nothing. The rest of the page remains open, waiting. You wonder what those words might have been. What emotion hovered behind the ink? What memory tried to find its shape in language, but paused instead? There is something tender about unfinished things. You lift the pen, slowly, as if not to wake it. It's heavier than it looks, balanced, smooth to the grip. You don't write. Not yet. You just hold it and feel the mind begin to slow. That's the thing about writing. It slows thought down to the speed of the hand. And in that slowing, clarity forms. While the mind races tumbling ideas, images, emotions like wind-blown leaves, the hand moves with rhythm, with structure, with patience, and the body follows. When you write, the brain's language centers, Broca's area and Wernicke's area, begin to stir. These regions link with the prefrontal cortex, where thoughts are shaped and ordered, and the motor cortex, which sends signals to the finger's dot. It's a quiet collaboration. Intention meets motion. Emotion meets structure. The very act of putting pen to paper invites coherence, a way of understanding yourself, not just through thought, but through touch, through movement, through form. You breathe again, deeper now. The room seems softer, as if the walls are listening. You remember times when writing gave you refuge, times when the world outside moved too fast, but the page moved only at your pace, when grief needed translation, when joy wanted to be preserved, when silence begged to be shaped into syllables. Writing is a form of sleep in its own way, a lowering of defenses. A surrender to slowness. Engages the parasympathetic nervous system, calming your heart rate, slowing your breath, even lowering cortisol levels. Not just through expression, but through physicality. Even typing does this, though the rhythm is different. But writing by hand, it asks more of you. And so, it gives more in return. You glance again at the unfinished letter. It's strange how writing doesn't always demand a reader. Sometimes, the act of writing is the message. A letter never sent can still be heard by you, because when you write, your thoughts are made visible. And sometimes, that's enough. A letter, a journal entry, even a few lines scribbled on a napkin. They become containers, places where emotions are placed, examined, softened. You begin to imagine the person who started this letter. What did they want to say? Was it apology? Confession? Gratitude? You look again at the ink and feel something like understanding, not because you know the words, but because you've lived the pause. We all have that quiet moment where feeling rises, but language stumbles. And so you wait. You breathe. You let the pause linger like a friend who doesn't need to fill the silence. Language, after all, is only one form of knowing. The brain's language centers are surrounded by memory, emotion, sensation. Words reach toward these places like bridges. But not everything can be crossed. Some feelings live beyond. Vocabulary, held in the space between breath and ink. You set the pen down again. You don't need to write tonight. But the desk has done its work. It has slowed you, softened you, and now your thoughts are no longer spinning. They are swaying, like candlelight, like a lullaby in syllables. You run your hand along the edge of the desk once more, then stand. The lamp glows warmly behind you as you step away, and in its light the paper remains unwritten, but not empty, because sometimes the letter never sent is a letter still received. By the self, you walk to the window. The town outside is wrapped in sleep. Faint snow still falls, catching on ledges and rooftops like powdered memory, and your breath fogs the glass, a message written in vapor, dissolving before it's read. You feel calm now, not because the day has been solved, but because it has been slowed. That is the gift of the written word, not resolution, but rhythm, and as your breath steadies, you find yourself wondering what lingers in the quiet air. Long after thoughts have settled and words have faded, perhaps there's something in the dust itself, a science of particles, floating, watching, waiting. A single beam of moonlight falls through the window, cutting softly across the room. And within that beam, something stirs. Tiny flecks drift slowly through the light, suspended, turning, floating like little ships in a silent sea. Dust. You. Sit still and simply watch. They rise, fall, shimmer, as if gravity has forgotten them. They don't rush. They don't settle. They just exist, and for the first time tonight, you really notice them, It's easy to ignore dust, to wipe it away, to blow it from shelves, to treat it as nothing more than the clutter of time. But dust is a world, a quiet, drifting archive, a story written in fragments. You reach your hand slowly into the light and watch the particles scatter around your fingers, like memories, like thoughts, like time paused in midair. These tiny specks, no bigger than a grain of sand, are made of everything: bits of skin, shreds of plant fiber, microscopic threads of fabric, pollen from trees, spores from fungi, even fragments of ancient meteorites settled here from the sky above. The air, it turns out, is never empty. It holds history, and as you breathe it in, gently, sleepily, your body listens. Your lungs don't just absorb oxygen. They sample the world. Every breath is an invitation to interact with the invisible. The immune system, always watching, meets these tiny visitors with calm curiosity. It sorts. It studies. It learns. Not every invader is a threat. Many particles are simply messages, telling your body what season it is, what trees are blooming, what animals are nearby. This is why your immune system is not just a shield. It is a memory system, a learning system. Every dust particle you inhale is a lesson, a quiet education in the geography of your life. You think of the old shelf across the room. It holds books you haven't opened in years. And yet the dust there knows you. It's made from the flakes of your skin, the fibers of your clothes, the scent of the candles you once burned. It has settled not just on objects, but into time. Dust. In this way is a clock. In archaeological sites. Scientists use dust layers to read the past, like tree rings, each one a frozen moment. Volcanic ash, pollen counts, soot from ancient fires, all preserved in quiet layers that tell stories no voice remembers. Even here, in this quiet room, dust holds chronology. The window ledge remembers spring's open air. The floor beneath your bed remembers footsteps. The lamp remembers being touched. And as the particles drift now, lit by moonlight, you feel them less as mess and more as presence. They remind you that nothing is still. Even in sleep, your body sheds 30,000 to 40,000 skin cells per hour. Not out of loss, but renewal. Your skin is not leaving you. It is becoming part of the room. You are not separate from your surroundings. You are in constant conversation with them. Dust is just one of the ways the body writes itself into the world dot, and the world, in turn, writes back. That faint smell you notice when you enter a room, it's made of molecules, clinging to dust, released when disturbed, carried into your nose and translated by your brain into memory, feeling, familiarity. Scent is the most ancient of the senses, and it travels through dust like music through air. You sit quietly, your breath shallow and slow. The room feels older now, not in age, but in meaning. The dust is not clutter. It is presence. It is what remains when movement ends. Scientists call this the aerosol biome, the microscopic world of floating particles that fill our air. We walk through it constantly. We contribute to it. We breathe from it. And while some dust may carry allergens, much of it carries life, spores that help plants grow, bacteria that train your immune cells, molecules that help build your tolerance. To the world. In this way, dust is part of your resilience. Even the act of sleeping among it, curled beneath your quilt, the air still around you, is part of a long negotiation between body and world. As you sleep, your body is not idle. Your brain is busy clearing metabolic waste. Your skin continues to regenerate. And your lungs, those patient gatekeepers, continue to filter and learn. The cells that guard your airways, the cilia, the macrophages continue their work, sorting friend from foe, instructing the rest of your immune system on how to respond, how to remember, how to grow stronger. All while you dream. You turn slightly now, your face brushing against the pillow. The scent is faintly familiar, linen and air, and something you can't quite name. That's dust. 2. Carrying memory and molecules. You think of the people you love. How the places they've touched feel different. How a familiar room holds. Their echo long after they've gone. It's not just emotion. It's chemistry. Their skin cells, their scent, their dust. It remains, and your body recognizes it, responds to it. This is the unseen intimacy of dust. It connects you to what came before and prepares you for what comes next. You rise slowly and walk toward the window. Outside, the snow glows faintly under the stars. Inside, the air glows faintly under the moon. You raise your hand into the light once more. The particles dance around. You still drifting alive. You don't need to move them. You only need to witness them, to know they are here, and always have been. A clock, a map, a mirror. You return to bed, and the dust settles around you like a second quilt, not heavy, not thick, just a quiet layer of being. It holds no judgment, no urgency, just presence. And as your eyes grow heavier, you think, perhaps, there is something beautiful about how the smallest things shape us most, about how the unseen becomes the unforgettable. And in the quiet between breaths, as dust drifts and settles, you begin to feel the pull of something deeper still, a sensation of sleep itself, of dreams gently rising beneath the stars. The room is quiet now. The lamp has dimmed to a soft flicker. The quilt wraps around you like a memory. And beyond the glass, the wind hushes, as if the world too is ready to rest. You close your eyes. There's nothing left to see, and yet everything begins. A stillness settles over your body, not just stillness of motion, but stillness of effort. Your breath finds its rhythm. Your limbs grow heavy, and the veil between wakefulness and sleep begins to lift. This is the threshold, and you cross it gently. Outside, the snow begins again. Each flake drifts in slow descent, landing quietly on rooftops, trees, and frozen earth. And inside you, something similar is happening. Your thoughts begin to drift, not vanishing, but transforming. Words dissolve into images, images into sensations. You are not falling asleep. You are being carried, as if by the very snow, soft, unhurried, downward dot, and as your body rests, your mind begins its quiet work. Sleep is not stillness. Sleep is symphony. Inside your brain, an orchestration begins. Slow wave sleep, the deepest kind, arrives first. Your brain waves slow, becoming long, sweeping waves, delta waves, like tides washing gently over the shore of consciousness. This stage is repair. It's here your body heals, your cells rebuild, your tissues renew, your immune system strengthens, your muscles soften, your heart settles into its most peaceful rhythm. But something else happens here, too, something invisible, something profound. Your brain begins to sort, to file, to forget. Each memory from your day, every sensation, every emotion is sifted and sorted like snow through fingers. Important memories are stabilized. Trivial ones melt away. It's not forgetting. It's refinement, a way of making room for the day that waits ahead. You may be dreaming now. Not wildly, not vividly yet, but gently. You see a shape, a light, a place. You feel someone near, though they may no longer walk this world. Your dreams begin as fragments, pieces of memory stitched loosely together. And yet, they hold truth, because dreaming is not fantasy. It is simulation. Your brain is practicing, testing, healing. During REM sleep, when dreams bloom in full color, your brain becomes as active as when you're awake. The prefrontal cortex, the center of logic, dims. But the amygdala emotion brightens, and the hippocampus memory whispers across neural bridges. You are not dreaming randomly. You are dreaming with purpose. And while the world outside sleeps, the town, the forest, the stars, your brain is making sense of it all. Every interaction, every sound, every particle of dust you breathe tonight is being recorded, translated, woven into the story of you. You dream, perhaps, of walking again down a snowy street, or of a cafe you never entered, or of stars you once saw from a mountaintop as a child. Your dreams borrow freely from the present, the past, the possible. You are not escaping. You are integrating. Dreaming is how the mind touches what the body cannot. It is the language of healing, of remembering, of letting go. You shift gently beneath the quilt. Your breathing remains slow. Your eyelids flutter. Outside, the forest waits in darkness. The trees sway gently, their roots deep in frozen soil. They, too, rest. Not in sleep, but in dormancy. A kind of still attention. Even the earth dreams. Through cycles, through seasons, through the long, slow exhale of winter. You are not apart from it. You are made of it. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your breath. All forged in ancient earth and distant stars. Your body listens to gravity, to light, to temperature. To the planet, turning slowly beneath you. And as you sleep, your body does not forget the world. It synchronizes with it. Melatonin still flows. Your temperature still drops slightly. Your body still follows the rhythm of the dark, the rhythm of the earth. Dream again now. Deeper, bolder. And even though you are still, your mind walks. It visits places you've loved, people you've missed, selves you've become and outgrown. These journeys are not aimless. They are the mind's way of reconnecting. Dreams are the dialogue between your biology and your story. They allow emotions to settle, fears to loosen, hopes to rise like breath in winter. Even nightmares, those sharp-edged messengers, carry wisdom. They reflect what's unspoken, what's waiting to be heard. But tonight, there are no edges, only softness, only drifting. You are wrapped in memory, bathed in starlight, held by breath. And still, even now, your body is listening. To the heartbeat within you, to the faint creak of wood, to the silence between snowflakes. You dream. But you are not lost. You are home. The house holds you. The earth cradles you. And the night carries you. You are not alone in your sleep. Every sleeping bird, every curled fox, every flower bowed under frost, they too are part of this nighttime chorus. A planet at rest. A world breathing in unison. You may not remember these words when you wake. You may not remember the dreams or the sound of snow, but your body will remember how it felt not to be still, to be warm, to be witnessed by the stars. Sleep is not the absence of life. It is a return. A recalibration. It is the earth's way of welcoming you back. And as the final snowflake lands on the window ledge, and the wind hums through the eaves, you drift not away, but inward. And somewhere in the quiet folds of your dream, the world continues turning, slowly, softly, always toward morning. And now, as our story gently fades, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for spending this moment with me. Your presence here means the world, and your support helps me create even more peaceful journeys. Just for you. If this helped you rest, please consider liking, subscribing, or simply coming back tomorrow night. Until then, stay cozy, stay kind, and may your dreams tonight be soft, serene, and full of wonder. Good night, my friend. With warmth, David.